Hello, welcome back. Okay, Luke chapter 13, um, Bible study questions. Did I do, are we on 13? I don't think we're on 13. I think we're on 12. We're on 12. So slow down. Luke chapter 12, Bible study questions. Okay, hold on, I need to get them. We started with warnings and encouragements, right? So he's saying, don't be like the hypocrites, don't be like the Pharisees, right? This idea of thinking you can hide what's truly going on, right? There is no such thing as secrets. Everything will be brought to the light. And like I said, why would you even want to do something worth hiding? If there's something you're doing that you want to hide, that should be the first indication that it's honestly something that you should share, right? Talk about. And again, pride will tell you don't tell anyone because you're going to feel guilt and shame and it's going to, ruin your life, rather than realizing the truth of the outcome. The reality is the best situation, and people will respect your character and your honesty and your humility and your willingness to learn and ask for forgiveness and great, like all of that, right? Versus hiding it, because what you're doing is you're actually giving that thing power over you. And I said this, you think you're controlling the narrative, but you're not. It controls you. The only way to take the power back is to speak that thing, speak over that thing. Okay, hold on. I need to refresh my phone. So it said that, and then it was saying, right, worry about your soul. Don't worry about the image, the outside, because again, that's literally what the Pharisees are doing. That's all they care about is the outside. And he's like, the outside doesn't matter at all. Your soul is what matters. And so are there areas of your life where you are more focused on outward appearance than genuine faith? And I wouldn't even just say genuine faith. I would say than your character. You compromise your character for the sake of keeping an image up versus doing what's right, and the humility that comes with it, right? Whatever outcomes, whatever consequences are tied to your behaviors, let them happen, because those are the true ones. Those are the ones that need to become. That's how you learn. You don't get everything you want. Lying and hiding is trying to manipulate so that you can still get what you want even though you don't deserve it. It's not the proper outcome. Rather than losing what you need to lose to learn the lesson. But again, and how the yeast of the Pharisees, how being a hypocrite, how being, two-sided, two-faced, being an actor, right? Saying one thing, doing another, it spreads. It spreads into every aspect of your life, like yeast. It takes over, and all of a sudden you're living a lie, and it feels like you're too far gone. How do you undo it? You're too deep in this lie, and it just gets harder and harder to tell the truth. And when it comes out, which it will, you are completely humiliated, embarrassed, potentially destroyed, rather than just ripping the Band-Aid and getting a little paper cut on the front end, this thing has grown and become so much bigger, and nobody trusts you, right? So are you focused on, and I would say, I honestly want to be more direct than that. I want to say, do you have any secrets? What are you hiding? What secrets do you have, and how can you bring them to the light? I remember for mine, it was smoking. And I always felt convicted about it because I always just thought, if anyone catches me, I enjoyed doing it, but I enjoyed doing it away, with no one else knowing, and trying to hide it, and, not letting people go in certain drawer, whatever that whole thing is. And then at church, when they were is there something you need to get rid of? And I just thought about how, it was so hard for me to throw it away. The idea of me, throwing all that stuff away, and it makes you realize it has a grip on you. Until I finally did, and it was crazy. It was freedom. It was just threw it away, and God kept interfering, right? There was always these things that were happening that were feeling really close calls, and it makes you, it's you're doing something you shouldn't be doing because you wouldn't feel that way, right? And anyway, me continuing to hide it until I finally, there was nothing big that happened that made me get caught. It was just that I had to break the tie. And like I said, realizing that it had a tie. I mean, it was going to come out at some point, or again, you just keep trying to lie to hide it. And that's just not a good way to live. So do you have any secrets? And rather than letting them get brought to the light, why don't you just bring them to the light? Even if you own it yourself, just bring it to God. Say, God, I know you see me. I know you know I'm doing this. I am not hiding anything. And how can I reclaim ownership over it? How can I have authority over myself again rather than being enslaved to my whims and my impulses? This is the whole mind-body loop. Rather than me being so bound by my cravings, help me with your spirit have control over my body. That's what self-control is. That's why it's a fruit of the spirit. Help me direct my body into right order and help my body obey and know its place rather than let my body lead. So anyway, what secrets do you have? What do you need to confess? And maybe just start by confessing it to God. Start by doing something about it. And then proceed, go forward with your life and say, I'm not going to have any more secrets. There is nothing I'm going to hide. If something happens and I want to hide it, that moment that I have a choice of do I hide it or do I not, I'm not even going to hide it. Right? This helps us with our integrity. That's what you need to check with yourself is what is the definition of integrity? And are you living a life of integrity? Because again, if you have something to hide, why do you want to hide it? And why are you doing things that need to be hidden? When you do things that are fine, you don't need to hide them. There is no hiding. So something in the hiding shows you. And again, I mean, for me, I think it's like we don't want to give it up. We don't want anyone to know because we don't want to give it up. Some of it can be you don't want to feel guilt or shame. But that's the same thing. Why are you doing something that would cause guilt or shame, right? If you got caught and it would make you feel guilty or ashamed, it's like, why are you doing the thing? We want to change outcomes. We want to be able to do the thing and not feel guilty or like shameful. Even though it is shameful, we don't want to feel shameful, so we don't want anyone to know about it. And so that's just like the weird loop and the weird delusion. But okay. He's saying, then Jesus says, like, don't fear those who kill the body, but fear God, right? Fear the one that has authority over your soul, that gave you life. It says, do you let the fear of people's opinions keep you from obeying God? And how can you overcome that, right? Do you care too much what people think? Do you not do the right thing because you care what people think? Do you not do the right thing because you don't want to be, you want to seem cool and you want to stay popular and you want to, I don't know, like you're afraid of losing that. You're afraid of a life where you don't get all the attention from others. Or even that you get some negative attention. You just can't even handle the burn, right? You'll dish it, but you can't take it. Like you don't want to have any singes, which means you compromise your character. You're literally compromising your character for the sake of what other people think. But so do you let the fear of other people's opinions, right? Because that's the whole thing of hypocrisy. It's like you're putting on an act. Why do you care so much what people think? What I love is like every chapter we read, we're coming around, if you haven't noticed, to the same points. It's the same handful of life lessons over and over and over again. And one of them is like, don't care what people think. Right? But fear God. Do you have God in his proper place? Of who you please and what you do and what you care about? Is God in his proper place? Are your priorities right? Are you paying any attention to your soul? Do you care about your psyche and your belief systems and your affections, what you desire? How you know, there's areas where you're rebellious and you resist and you oppose God. You know, like he's given you proper order and you want chaos. He's given you accuracy and aim and you want to find another way. But do you even care about your soul? It's like that kind of thing. Like, are you just focused on the physical of this life? How much attention do you actually give? Because your soul, we know this, everything in your life around you is manifesting from your soul, from within you. So it's like, if you want your behavior to change, if you want different outcomes, different results in your life, you have to change. So do the soul work. Pay attention to your soul. Be in union with the Lord. Be filled with the Spirit, and all the fruit will come. The behavior, the results, the outcomes, the abundance, it'll all come. Okay, Jesus reassuring them about God's provision, right? It's like, remember, and then this, I would say this barn example, do you relate to that? Are you that person where when you get more in your life, you think, how can I make room for my more? I've gotten more, and so now I need a bigger house. I need more cars. I need to travel more. I need to invest more. It's like you're trying to make more for yourself versus seeing that excess and giving it or like sharing it in any way. And the idea of like, if you were to die tomorrow, right, what's it all worth? Like I said, the idea of like storing up a bunch of produce that's going to rot in a month anyway. And you think, oh, I have enough for the next year. It's like, no, you need to keep showing up, keep working, letting the Lord provide one day at a time. And so just how does this story then after that, where he talks about how the birds, he's like, they literally don't have any storage. They do not sow anything and they do not reap anything. They just every day are provided for though, right? They have their instincts. They have their way of life. They have everything they need in the earth, even God creating Adam and Eve and putting us in this earth with nothing. We didn't have cars. We didn't have houses, right? They were in paradise and they had everything they needed. So this is enough. The world is enough, right? We have it such this backwards mindset. And I've said it before, Jesus was homeless. Like we have this backward mindset of we need all these things. The Lord's like, no, you don't. And so how does this encourage you in times of worry or insecurity? Basically the Lord, when he says you can't serve God and money, right? Which one are you going to choose to be your security? And when you think money is your security, and it's like, first of all, money isn't even real, but which that's what's so interesting in the way that we are now, but it's a false sense of security. There's inflation and the dollar changes and economies change and jobs change, right? You lose your job or you get promoted or management changes or there's cuts or just whatever. And so it's like, you can't put your security in that. And so when you have this insecurity, right? And then you try to take control in your own hands and say, it's dependent on me. I have to build my own security, or I have built my own security. And it's about money, or if you understand that God is your security, he is your provider. And so just how this encourages you, how can this encourage you? Because I feel like that's a big one. I feel like we all deal with that. I think we are all in this hustle culture. We all care so much about like, I've got to pay my bills. Me, right? It's all the pressures on me, and to give it over to God and say, Lord, show up, help me, right? Provide. Okay, talk about the Holy Spirit and how he shows up in the moment when you need him. I mean, he's always with you, right? But it's always the present moment. So rather than trying to jump ahead into scenarios you haven't lived out yet, when you are in that situation, that moment, he's there with you. So call upon him, right? The Holy Spirit will meet you right then and there and help you and guide you and counsel you, right? He'll let you know what to say. So when have you needed God's help in speaking the right words? Or have you even thought that he could help you with that? Are you aware that that's a thing God does? That it's not just you pray to him in the morning with your, to-do list or whatever, but your wish list, but that in a moment, in a meeting, on a phone call, sending an email, you can literally in that situation say, Lord, help me know what to say. I do that on all these videos and stuff, right? I'm like, Lord, you have to tell me what to say or speak through me or prepare their hearts so that even what I say that doesn't make sense can make sense, or the things I say that are wrong will fall away. The things that you have for them will pierce through and take root. Like he has got to do it. But anyway, that he can help you speak words in the right timing. And so how in those moments can you trust him more? Same thing, you not controlling, you not needing to say everything you want to say, and trusting that when you're in union, like he's speaking through you. And again, it just all comes out of control. You thinking like you need to say the right thing and you need to control the narrative, and right? It's all about you taking so much credit and so much responsibility and so much of the weight versus being like, I trust the Lord in those moments that he will give me the words to say, right? We are in a constant dependence. It is like you have got to break off entirely ever feeling for a moment of your day that you are independent. It gets completely stripped. It's not sometimes you're dependent and sometimes you're independent. It is every waking moment you are dependent. Okay, so then the man asked Jesus to settle a financial dispute. I guess it's not a then. Well, this was the barn that I just mentioned. So these are kind of out of order, but let's see. It says, I guess I'll skip that one because we already did it. He stored up too much. What does it mean to be rich toward God? And how can you apply that to your life, right? Because Jesus says, it's not about the man who, stores up wealth for himself. I even love when he says, life does not consist in the abundance of possessions, So what is abundance then? Write it down. If abundance is not an abundance of things, same with wealth, right? If wealth and abundance are not possession based, then what are they? You can look up the Greek definitions if you want. Abundance and fulfillment are like similar, synonymous. But when you're abundant, it's like you are so filled up with something that it overflows from you. It's not something you go get outside of you. You become abundant. You're the source, right? You're connected to him, the source, and the abundance flows from you out, not toward you. And that's where we have it wrong. But what does abundance mean? Because, we all want abundance. We all want an abundant life. What does that actually mean? What does that look like? Okay. What worries do you need to surrender to God today? When we're talking about provision and him showing up, what are you worried about right now? Because I love when he says, who by worrying can add a single hour to their life? You can't add any more time to your days. If today's your day to go, it's your day to go. If it's next year, if it's 10 years from now. So you worrying about it's not going to change anything. You have to just live in the moment. And again, realize the Holy Spirit will meet you in the moment. So what are you worried about? Write it down. Give it to God. Right? Cast all your anxieties on him. When you start to worry, talk to him. It's a great trigger. When you start to worry about stuff, turn it into prayer. Be like, I'm not going to think about this alone. I'm going to invite God in. I'm going to talk to him about it. I'm going to get it off my chest. Right? But what are you worried about? I love that he says you can't even do something that small. You can't even add an hour to your day. And then, so why are you worried about the rest? You literally have no control. Why are you worrying? But there's freedom in that. There's freedom in that. We can't control. Quit trying to control. We say this a lot here, but this is finally the verse that talks about it, seeking first the kingdom. Right? How can you make seeking God's kingdom your priority? And remember, priority means what comes first, prior. Everything that you want, every outcome you want, right? Every result that you want means that that result exists. It's like a destination, right? It's a destination, it's a target, it's a goal, all those things that exists ahead of you. You obviously believe it exists. But are you aimed at it? What are you aimed at? You can only aim at one thing. It's the whole point of aim. What are you focused on? And God is saying, if you aim at me, because I am literally correctness and accuracy, then everything correct and accurate will happen, right? I am truth. If you aim at me, truth, everything true will happen. It's only when you pick anything else, anything opposing. And so anything opposing truth means it's a lie, it's false, it's not real, it's not going to happen. It's a fantasy, right? He is reality. So it's like aim towards him, and everything that will happen, everything by design that's right will unfold as it is designed. Every outcome will come, right? Every cause and effect, every consequence will happen because it's correct, it's right. And then all the rest is just a waste. So it's like, why would you aim anywhere else? Why would you aim at falsehood and at fantasy and at lies and at things that are unreliable, things that are not going to come to pass? Seek him, seek first the kingdom, and everything will come to pass. Everything true will happen. Everything. And so a way to think about that is like, you know that a tree is inside of a seed. The tree doesn't exist yet. The tree is the destination, but you know that that's the design. It's already made. So if you want a tree, you sow a seed. And if you don't sow a seed, you're not going to get a tree, right? It's that kind of thing, but it's like the design is already there. But if you seek first the kingdom, so seeking first the kingdom is saying, I trust you, Lord, and your truth and your righteousness, your rightness, your correctness, your accuracy of your perfect design for me and my life too, that I know it will unfold. The tree is inside the seed. I know the tree inside of me will come out, right? I know I will bear fruit because you have designed it to be so. But anything else I do won't bear fruit. And then for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also, right? And so just what you treasure. And your heart is your soul, right? Your affection, your beliefs will tie to it. It's like what you put first. But again, why would you put anything above the source itself? The source is going to be the most powerful thing. God is the source. But like, it just makes the most sense, obviously, to treasure him. But where do you put your treasure? And I would say, think of the thing that comes to mind that you don't want to get rid of, that you can't even imagine getting rid of. Or when God says, hey, give me this thing, let me move in this area, we got to get rid of this thing, you don't want to get rid of it. It's the one thing you can't let go of. And it's kind of crazy to think like we would let go of God before we let go of this thing. But letting go of God means you don't get anything. But like why we can't let go of certain things. And so that shows you that that thing is your priority. If there's something else you can let go of, like I think about if you had to choose, between God and marriage, if you had to choose between God and the job, if you had to choose between God and whatever, and if there's anything that you would choose that thing over God, it is a problem. Right? You're treasuring that thing. And what you're doing is you're putting your hope and your trust in something that's temporary and unreliable, and it will fail you. It's not dependable. And so even if it lasts for a little bit, it will fail you eventually, and you find yourself at ground zero, back to square one, starting over, devastated, everything falling apart. And it was already designed that way. It was told to you from the beginning, if you do it this way, it will fail, and you did it anyway, and then you get sad when it fails. He's already told you. Okay, the servants, right? The parable about the servants and the master, and saying like, this is why you can't fake it, because if it's not genuine, you'll get tired of the act that you're playing. If you're playing the part of being good and being honest and being, courteous and whatever, then when you're not getting the results you want, like when it's not, if you were doing it for a motive of like, again, like I'm gonna show up to work and be the best employee because I want them to see and give me a raise. Well, then what happens when it's been 6 months and you still haven't gotten whatever you thought you were gonna get? Then you give up. You're like, I guess I'm not going to get it. Having no idea that maybe the next day, like all of a sudden you give up and you're like, I'm not going to try anymore. And you stop going above and beyond. And then all of a sudden your company calls a meeting and they're like, we're going to give out awards for blah, blah, blah. And you just forfeited it. This is the whole idea of forfeiture. You just forfeited it, but it's because it wasn't genuine. You couldn't keep it up. And for us to keep a lifestyle of faith is it has to be genuine and it becomes your everyday. There is no days off. Like this is the way we do it now. But so it says, are you living in a way that shows you're ready for Jesus' return? And I don't even think about, obviously Jesus is returning and we don't know when, but I think about the fact that we have God here and now. Why would we not live that way, having God here and now? It is like rude. I was going to say blasphemous, but that feels like a Christian word. Like to have God and basically be like spitting in his face right here and now. We have him now. And to think we don't need to be on our best behavior because the master's not in the house. But it's like, God is here. God is with us. And so it's like, why would we not? Even the fact that it's like he gave us the house. Like we get to be in the house and we're fed and we're sheltered. And yes, if the master in this metaphor has like left for a minute, but why we would feel so entitled to then like abuse the house and abuse the people in the house and not just like wake up every day and take care of the house, take care of the people, be so grateful. The master comes home, everything's okay. It's like, this is a great picture of what we do. It's like, why are we destroying our lives and what we've been given? It doesn't have to be that way. But do you live ready? Even just ready in preparedness of the doors God opens for you. You pray for doors to be open. Are you ready to seize the opportunity? Right? Are you ready to rise to the occasion? When stuff shows up, are you ready? There has to be a readiness of like, if you call, I answer, I'm ready to go. And so just a readiness. Are you living ready? What does that mean? Maybe write down, what is the definition of ready? And what does a life that's ready look like? How can you be ready? That's what fitness is. Fitness is literally people staying ready. That's what the word fit means. Fitness means readiness. So when people have fitness or they're on their fitness journey, it is saying like, I want to be ready all the time. I'm working on my readiness. That's why I have my program Fit for the Kingdom. Your spiritual readiness, your mental readiness, and your physical readiness. Like, are you ready? And then to whom much is given, much will be required, right? You want all these things, but have you grown to be the person that can handle them? Grown in capacity. That's why I say, if you want to beat the video game, you got to play all the levels. You don't just get to show up at the last level, like, because you wouldn't even know what to do. Like, you're growing every step of the way by learning and becoming the person that can handle the next layer. And the next level has more obstacles. There are obstacles that you can handle, right? You're equipped, you're ready, you've learned a little bit, you might stumble and whatever, but you're going to figure it out and then you're going to beat that level and go to the next one. But more is required of us to have more, right? That's why I said it's the same thing with fulfillment. It's like we grow in our capacity. We increase, just like a balloon. The more air you put in a balloon, the bigger the balloon gets. And so it's like the balloon, more is required of the balloon. The balloon is growing so that more air can get into it, right? It's that kind of relationship. We grow so that we can handle more, carry more. Not just that we get more. And so we want more, right? And what gifts, resources, or responsibilities has God given you now, here and now? What gifts, what resources, what responsibilities has God given you? He's entrusted with you now. Because if you can be trusted with what you have now, you can be trusted with more, right? That's you passing the level to get to the next. But if you can't even pass the level that you're on, you're not going to get to the next. It's literally that's why it's a participation of you. What are you doing with what you have? This goes back to the 2 fish and the loaves and the whole conversation of give God what you have, but what are you doing with what you have? Are you in fear or faith in the level that you're in? Because you're not going to get more. It's going to be harder to have faith if you don't even have faith in the level that you're at. Right? So how can you be a steward of what you have now? And again, in the job you currently have, the family you currently have, how can you have fear instead of faith in situations? How can you pray for the family that you have? How can you be generous with what you have? How can you be a great employee with the job that you have? Right? When you do all of that and you prove yourself, then you can move on to the next. But more is not going to be given to you if you aren't even responsible with what you currently have, especially when you think what you have isn't enough. It's like, what I have isn't enough, I need more. But it's like, you won't be able to be trusted with more because you're not even trusted with what you have. You're not even doing anything with what you have. So what are you going to do with more? You're going to squander. You're going to waste. And God is not like that. God's not going to give you more for you to just be able to waste it. It's like, what world do you live in? Like logically, like there's just no logic there to think like life is so much about me that I'm just supposed to get more. God is only a good God if he gives me more, so I have more to waste. There's no purpose in that. God is saying, no, I'm going to show you that all of this is about purpose, and you're going to learn and you're going to live up to that. Okay, so when Jesus talks about the division among the families, right, have you ever experienced opposition because of your faith? And in like a friend group or even in your family, right? You come home or you go to a holiday or you just start changing your life and people don't recognize you anymore, and the easiest thing is that people start to think you're judging them just because you're getting your life in order, right? Like you don't do those things anymore. And so they feel judged, but it's more just convicted. It's like, listen, you're on your own journey, but I've just chosen not to do that stuff anymore. I've changed and I can still love you. That's why I said it's the people that are still unhealed, the people that are still lost, that are the ones that create the division. Because the healed person doesn't want to create division. The healed person wants unity. And just like how we were with God, we created division. We're like, go away, stop telling me what to do, stop loving me, stop like, just wanting a relationship with me basically. And so we create this division with God in our own mind, right? The alienation in our mind, the estrangement that's not really even there. He's like, I'm with you all the time. Like you just are tuning me out. And so anyway, it's like the one that's still angry is the one that creates the division because they're trying to push love away. They do not want to be accountable. They do not want to be better, to change. But it's just because it's a mind that doesn't understand what it actually looks like. That it's not about you feeling like you're not good enough. It's actually you realizing that you are enough, and from that place, like you are so loved and you are designed perfectly, and that there's abundance available for you. It's not you trying to perform for this God that wants to keep things from you. It's a God that's already designed and offered everything to you, and you just need to receive it. And so it's one of those things where it's like an ignorance, it's an unawareness. People are pushing it away because they think they don't want it, when actually it's everything they want. It's everything they need. It is the transformation that's going to change their life and literally heal their heart. But again, you just don't know that. That's why we're here, to help people know that they're loved. And so just how can you remain committed, right? Because that can feel hard, is when people around you, especially your own family, doesn't get it. And I guess just realize, like, be patient, be the light in the room, be the love in the room. And they might poke fun at you all the time, but that one day that they're crying and they need someone to call, they'll call you. Or that one day you get a text message that just says, hey, can you pray for me? Like, I'm scared right now, or I'm in trouble, or hey, can you help? And you offer to help, they know. So it's like, just endure, right? How can you endure? How can you stay committed? And then Jesus rebuked people for recognizing signs of the weather, but not spiritual signs. And are there areas where you might be ignoring or resisting what God is showing you? I love that. He's like, I'm showing you all kinds of stuff. And like, you can literally tell when a rain cloud is coming, and you say you can't tell when I'm doing something in your life, like you're resisting. It's willful ignorance. It's not that you don't see it. It's that you're like shutting your eyes. Because it's evident, it's there. So there are areas that you might be resisting what God is showing you. Like he's showing you something. This is the whole face reality. Let someone show their true colors, right? Don't live in denial. Where he's showing you something. He's revealing something. He's revealing a truth, giving you an answer to a question. And you're having a tough time swallowing it, dealing with it. And that's where, again, you try to take control and say, I'm going to make there be a different answer to this question. And it's not going to work. So it's like, stop resisting. Okay. I love God. I love this. It's also good. This is so helpful for me too as we read these questions. Like I'm even saving them because I'm like, I can use this. This is helpful. This is good stuff to think about. So that was Luke chapter 12. I will see you guys tomorrow for Luke chapter 13. And God bless you. Bye.